Welcome to the Real News Network. I'm Jesse Freeston, coming to you from our Washington, D.C. studios, where we are marking Labor Day. Labor Day in the United States, Canada, and Bermuda is celebrated on the first Monday of September. Today, it mostly means the end of summer, or for children and students, it means the last day of freedom before school starts again, but it didn't always mean this. The first Labor Day celebration was held in New York City in 1882, when some 30,000 workers marched in support of a variety of demands. The next 12 years would see increasingly violent confrontations between an overworked and poorly paid labor force and major business interests backed by the police and court system, culminating in President Grover Cleveland's decision to use the military to violently break up a strike at Illinois' Pullman Railroad Company in 1894. 34 workers were killed and the country was furious. Cleveland's response was to announce the recognition of Labor Day as a national holiday. Much of the world outside the U.S. celebrates Labor Day on the 1st of May, in commemoration of Chicago's Haymarket Massacre of 1886. During days of strikes in support of the 8-hour day, police killed numerous workers. But when they were breaking up one outdoor meeting, a bomb exploded, killing 7 police. 8 anarchist leaders, of which only 1 had been present at the bombing, were convicted without evidence, and 4, including strike leader Albert Parsons, were executed. Outrage spread, and within a few years, May Day was being celebrated internationally as a day of worker solidarity. But in the U.S., the government and the American Federation of Labor worked together to promote September's Labor Day, as it was seen as a less radical alternative. For years, U.S. workers used the first Monday in September to celebrate the gains of the labor movement, with grand parades, a tradition that has largely been lost over time. Labor Day 2009 comes as newest government figures show 216,000 jobs lost in August, bringing the real unemployment rate in the United States up to 16.8%. But according to Jeanette Wilkes-Lim of the Political Economy Research Institute, another set of new figures shows things weren't looking good for the U.S. workforce even before the recent crisis hit. So Jeanette, you released a report today, and if you wouldn't mind telling us a little bit about what you found in it and why exactly you decided to release it on Labor Day.
What this report does is it takes a look at the jobs of the future, and I try to gauge what that means in terms of workers' pay and benefits in the future, whether or not they'd be rising, falling, staying the same. And in particular, I look at the proportion of what I call decent jobs that will likely exist. Approximately 65% of workers today don't hold what I call a decent job that would support a small family at a decent living standard, pay $17 per hour with health and retirement benefits. I looked in particular at the 10 occupations that have the largest job growth as predicted by the Department of Labor. You see jobs like janitors, nurse aides, you also see customer service representatives, and what the Department of Labor itself says is that 8 of these 10 jobs can be referred to as having earnings that are low or very low. In 1975, that pay for the average worker was about $18.25. In 2007, that same type of worker was being paid $17.50. So actually less, and this is all inflation-adjusted figures. Alongside that stagnant trend in wages, we actually saw productivity rise on the order of 85% over 1975 to 2007. So even though workers were producing more per hour, we saw that they were being paid just about the same. Now, the divergence between these two trends, between worker productivity and their average pay, is different than what we saw prior to 1975. You can see the productivity of workers increased again at an impressive rate, but at the same time, the pay of the average worker also increased. So I took a look at what would the average pay be for a worker today if their average wage had risen at the same pace as it had prior to 1975. And what I found is that instead of being paid $17.50 roughly, that they would actually earn something on the order of $27.75. So something about 50% greater than what they actually earn. So that kind of shows a dramatic contrast between what the economy has done in the past versus what it's doing now.
The man who works the long hours has no necessities except the barest to keep body and soul together so he can work. He goes to sleep and dreams of work. He rises in the morning to go to work. He takes his frugal lunch to work. He comes home again to throw himself down on a miserable apology for a bed so that he can get that little rest that he may be able to go to work again. He is nothing but a veritable machine. He lives to work instead of working to live. We want 8 hours and nothing less. We have been accused of being selfish, and it has been said that we will want more. We do want more.